What would happen to the world if humans and all carnivora were wiped out? Which animals would evolve and become top predator? What would happen to the herbivores now that their predators have gone? In this speculative world, our beloved dogs developed a resistance to cancer, almost completely preventing the disease in our canine friends. Scientists extracted the antibodies from dogs and studied them meticulously. They altered the antibodies, creating a vaccine to prevent and even cure cancer in humans. It goes to trial and proves to work on every patient it is tested on. Incredible. Humans no longer fear the dreaded disease. A decade passes with all forms of cancer becoming close to non-existent. But then, 13 years after, a new disease takes hold. People start becoming sick and dying. The antibodies in the vaccine have mutated, creating a virus known to scientists as caninovirus, which rampaged through humans and spread back into dogs and further into all dog relatives throughout the families of the order Carnivora. The virus was merciless and absolute. Humans and Carnivora, all gone. Extinct. I hope to make videos about what has happened in every continent. In this video, we'll see what happens in Europe. Note, Carnivoran is not the same as carnivore. Carnivora is the phylogenetic order which contains most mammal carnivores, including all the relatives of bears, cats, dogs, weasels, raccoons and hyenas, amongst others who once shared a common ancestor. They have all been wiped out by the virus, but there are still meat eaters. All the reptiles and birds are still there. There are other meat-eating mammals like rats and hedgehogs. So who will take over? Which animal becomes top predator? What happens to the herbivores now that their predators are gone? As humans die out, nature starts to recolonize our cities, towns, roads and farms, covering our streets, buildings and ploughed fields in grasses, shrubs and trees. Nature has a space it hasn't seen in tens of thousands of years. Scavengers like rats, ravens and vultures thrive off the bodies of all those who have succumbed to the virus. Our iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and the Colosseum are now little more than nesting sites for eagles and caves for bats. The large animals of Europe, bison, moose, red deer, fallow deer, roe deer, wild boar, Iberian ibex, alpine ibex, chamois and mouflon, delight with all the new land and food available to them and lack of predators to hunt them. Many of the semi-domestic animals that were being used in rewilding projects, primitive cattle, horses and water buffalo, have been spreading and mingling with farm animals, adapting to the wild. Sheep and goats have been breeding and thriving too. That is until their populations get too big, with no predators to keep them in check, and the vegetation is grazed to nothing, seeing huge booms and busts. Herbivore populations get too high, vegetation is grazed to nothing, and many herbivores starve, which then provides an abundance of food for willing scavengers. Herbivore populations are then way down, so vegetation booms, and herbivores thrive for a period, and the cycle repeats. The herbivores might meet some extra competition with arrivals from Asia in years to come. We'll see later in the video. Are there any animals left capable of hunting the large herbivores during the early years after the virus? Golden eagles prey on the largest animals of any eagle in the world. They've been credited with taking adult female deer weighing as much as 70 kg or 150 pounds. They even pluck chamois off mountainsides and let them fall to their demise, then feeding on the carcass below. They've been known to occasionally take lambs, piglets, deer fawns and even adult sheep have been taken, so they'll definitely be one of the frontrunners to be top predator in this new Europe. White-tailed eagles are larger again than goldens, but they don't take large prey as regularly. Nonetheless, they've been recorded preying on adult roe deer and the young of red deer, sheep and other ungulates. Other birds of prey will do well in Europe now with an abundance of prey and space. One of note is the Eurasian eagle owl, the second largest owl in the world, which has been recorded taking adult red foxes, lambs, wild boar piglets and even a roe deer weighing 17 kg or 37 pounds. We'll see later what happens to birds of prey in the race to become top predator in Europe. Apart from birds of prey, there are many meat-eating birds. Corvids are impressive predators, especially in areas where birds of prey are scarce, like in Ireland. Ravens and hooded crows in particular have been known to take lambs. Even chickens and pheasants are impressive predators, hunting lizards, mice and other small animals. Regarding reptiles in Europe, the competition isn't very strong. 4 snakes which can take the largest prey when compared to other snakes in Europe are the Caspian whip snake and four-lined snake, which are only found in subtropical regions, and the Asclepian and blotched snakes, which are found in both subtropical and temperate regions. The Asclepian in particular can be found quite far north. There's even a population of them in northern Wales. These 4 snakes can take prey up to the size of rats and young rabbits. Nothing too impressive, but will they grow, with carnivorans now extinct? What about meat-eating mammals that are still here? Rats, a highly intelligent, adaptable animal that would do well initially with an abundance of carrion and leftover food from humans, but over time would have to find other ways to survive. Brown rats are actually impressive predators that use their high intelligence to hunt fish, lizards, amphibians, mice, and birds, including ducks. On multiple occasions on continents where there were no mustelids filling the otter and mink niche, other animals filled it. The racali, a rodent in Australia in the same subfamily as rats, filled the niche, and an Afrotherian called the giant otter shrew took the mantle in Africa. Rats are capable of swimming for 3 days and can hold their breath underwater for several minutes at a time. After a few millennia, rats could do much the same as the racali and giant otter shrew have done before them. Hedgehogs are one of the largest meat-eating mammals on the continent now that carnivorans are gone. The European hedgehog is primarily an insectivore, but it also often scavenges and eats snakes, lizards, frogs, and mice. Apart from birds of prey, there aren't really any predators of hedgehogs left in doggone world. But the biggest meat-eating land mammal still living is the wild boar. Wild boar are known as the hyenas of Europe, as they are one of the main scavengers on the continent, and they have very hardy guts, capable of eating things that would make other animals sick. Wild boar are of course omnivores, and rootle in the ground eating lots of nuts and tubers. They also eat any animals they can get their mouths on, like rodents, amphibians, and ground-nesting birds. Deer mothers often leave their fawns in a hiding place. Sometimes wild boar find these fawns and gladly eat them. I found 2 occasions of wild boar hunting larger prey. Wild boar in India attacked and ate a bonnet macaque, a monkey that weighs more than twice as much as a domestic cat. A sounder of wild boar were seen hunting and eating a healthy adult female chital deer in India. Chital are similar in size to the fallow deer of Europe and much bigger than roe deer. Wild boar are thought to be the most intelligent animals in the world, after apes, dolphins, and corvids. With their intelligence and willingness to hunt, they'd likely make this a more common behaviour, even in the early years, especially in the winters when vegetation is depleted and there are lots of hungry herbivores struggling to get by. It'd likely be young, weak, or injured animals they'd be hunting in the initial stages, but could they develop it? Let's move up 100,000 years and see what's happened. Who are the top predators? Have the large herbivores changed? Have any new animals come to Europe? Yes, they have. Now, after 50,000 generations of Asian elephants being born, they've been spreading north and east and adapting to colder climates as they go, getting a little larger and hairier, though nothing close yet to their woolly mammoth cousins. They made their way through rivers and gaps in mountain ranges, spreading over thousands of years and now fulfilling the niche that the extinct straight-tusked elephant once filled in Europe. They are still not found in the far north of Europe or Asia, but they are adapting to new habitats and climates with each generation. Similarly, the Indian rhino has colonised Europe, fulfilling the ancient role of Merck's rhino and the narrow-nosed rhino. Saiga antelope have taken back their ancient home and are now seen in their millions on the grasslands of temperate and northern Europe. For thousands of years, the herbivores had little evolutionary pressure from predators. Their pressures came from competition for habitat and food, so they found niches across Europe where they best thrived. The grassland savannas and woodlands are now teeming with wild cattle, horses, European bison, deer, water buffalo and moose, alongside the elephants, rhinos and saiga antelope. The mountains and uplands now have ibex, feral goats and mouflons, which have been breeding with their feral sheep cousins for 100,000 years. The northern reaches of Europe are now home to thronging herds of reindeer, moose and other deer, hairy horses and cattle, fluffy mouflon and saiga antelope, grazing and browsing and turning over the snow. The herbivores had few predators to worry about for thousands of years, but nature abhors a vacuum, and evolution can happen quickly when there are vacant niches. There is now a hedgehog species the size of a badger, sometimes weighing as much as 15 kg or 30 pounds. They are predominantly scavengers though. In a world where there were lots of carcasses, competition for food set off an arms race. With most of the predators gone, the hedgehogs grew in size and aggression. Rats have filled the niche of many mustelids, becoming quicker and more agile, having a ferret-like terrestrial form and an otter-like form in the waterways, though not as impressive as either of those two predators yet. One surprising common predator now is what was once the domestic chicken, the most numerous bird in the world before the virus. Chickens in the pre-caninovirus world would hunt anything they could get their talons on, including mice, frogs and even snakes. They continued this predatory behaviour in a world with lots of competition for vegetation, but a lack of predatory competition. They've become quicker on their feet and have longer legs and sharper talons, and they can now catch and consume prey, sometimes as big as adult rabbits. Golden eagles are now much bulkier than before and better able to take large prey. They've learned to attack the throats or vital parts of the necks of large ungulates, occasionally taking female moose and wild horses. Saiga antelope are now commonly preyed on. They're not as big yet as the extinct Haast's eagle of New Zealand, but they're larger now than any eagle that was around when the virus hit, and much more skilled at taking large prey. Golden eagles are the kings of the sky during the day, but in the night, Eurasian eagle owls come out to play and can take larger prey than ever. They now sometimes even take adult deer. Many snakes too have continued growing and taking larger prey. Asclepian snakes in particular have done well, sometimes getting up to 4 meters or 13 feet long, almost twice the length they could reach before. They now regularly take rabbits, hares, newborn deer and large birds. They are found across temperate Europe, ranging further north than ever, and also southern Europe, though they are less common there due to competition from other large snakes. Maybe the top predator in Europe now though is the wolf boar, a descendant of the wild boar that has been adapting to the predatory lifestyle with each generation. Wild boar reproduce quickly and create lots of young. That and the available large predator niche has allowed them to evolve quickly. They're quicker, more agile and better able to hunt. They use their intelligence, strength and pack mentality to hunt the large herbivores in the grasslands and woodlands. They've been known to take cattle, bison and horses, though rarely healthy adults. They now look somewhere between the wild boar and the extinct ungulate carnivores like Andrewsarchus, which was the top predator in the world 40 million years ago. Wolf boar are probably the top predator on the continent, but there has been an arrival from Asia, a descendant of the crab-eating macaque. Crab-eating macaques were incredibly intelligent animals in the pre-virus world and highly adaptable. They've been known to steal from humans in order to barter for food, only returning the stolen goods when given their reward. They used axe-shaped rocks to crack open the shells of crabs, oysters and other shelled animals. They also stole bird chicks and eggs when the parents were away. It's even thought that humans reduced the speed of tool-use learning in macaques through the damage we caused to their lives and habitats. But humans have been gone for 100,000 years. Crab-eating macaques have been spreading, learning and adapting. They now use their intelligence to surround prey, using sticks, stones and their sharp canines to make their kill. They regularly take deer, goats, mouflon and occasionally larger animals like cattle and horses. Many of the largest animals like bison, buffalo and even horses are mostly safe from predation. But the predators are becoming a threat and the herbivores have something to fear again. The arms race is on. I previously made a video about Doggone World and what happened in North America. I'm not happy with the editing of that video, particularly the audio and the pace. Video editing is still quite new to me and I hope to keep improving. If you have patience and really liked this video, it would be great if you could check out the North American episode. There are some similarities though, as many of the animals on the two continents are the same. Would you like to see another episode in this series, done for another continent or region? Let me know in the comments below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to help it grow. Thanks, as always, for watching.